What if the Celtics bench isn't deep enough? Brad Stevens did everything in his power to keep most of last season's finalist roster intact. The goal? To lead the Celtics to even greater success through continuity. Only two players didn't return. Svi Mykhailiuk, now with a 4-year, $15 million contract with the Utah Jazz, and Oshie Brissett, who remains unsigned. So far, the only guaranteed addition to the team is rookie Baylor Scheierman, with one open spot that could be filled by Lonnie Walker IV or one of the new training camp signees. In other words, the roster is practically set for the start of the season, and the idea is to follow the same path as last year. But what if the critics are right? What if it was all just a stroke of luck? What if the Celtics truly benefited from a dysfunctional and injury-riddled Eastern Conference? What if the East has improved enough to challenge them? What if the Celtics starters can't carry the team back to the promised land? And finally, what if the Celtics bench isn't deep enough? Now, let your imagination run wild. I think it's fair to say that the Celtics' top 8 is well defined. The starting 5 would consist of Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis, with Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and Al Horford being the first off the bench. An 8-man rotation is ideal for the playoffs, but anything can happen throughout the season. Porzingis is already projected to be out until at least December, and Al Horford, at 38 years old, not being LeBron, still carries a heavy load that won't lessen with Porzingis' absence. The rookies Baylor, Jaden Springer, Jordan Walsh, and Neemias Quetta are still unknown factors. Luke Kornet and Xavier Tillman have more experience, but neither has solidified himself as the immediate backup at center. What if that's not enough? Brad Stevens commented on keeping nearly the same team as last season. In general, I'd say I wouldn't mind making a tweak here or there because I think those tweaks can galvanize a team. But I feel like these guys are already energized just by being together. I don't expect Brad to make a big move right now, but by the trade deadline, it might be a different story. Maybe someone important gets injured. Maybe the rookies don't deliver and can't earn minutes. Maybe the center rotation remains uncertain. Or perhaps the Celtics underperform, and management pressures Brad Stevens to make changes, justifying the hefty luxury tax they're paying. How could the Celtics adjust to get back on track? With the new CBA rules, that becomes quite tricky. The Celtics are right on the edge of the second tax bracket, which severely restricts their options for trades and signings. They can't send cash, aggregate 2 or more players in a deal, and it's nearly impossible to make trades with other teams that are also in that tax bracket. So let's set a few ground rules for this exercise. We don't want to drastically change the team, which means the top 8 players are untouchable, except in a highly unlikely offer. Scheierman, being a rookie, is also off the table in trade talks as he's part of the Celtics' future plans. Celtics avoid problem with Brogdon's departure. Malcolm Brogdon, who was a key piece for the Boston Celtics, is now facing another obstacle at the start of his new journey with the Washington Wizards. After being traded by Boston this offseason, the 31-year-old veteran suffered a hand injury that is expected to sideline him for the Wizards' season opener in 2024-25. If the Celtics fanbase felt his departure, they might now be breathing a sigh of relief. It seems Boston escaped a major headache just in time. As reported by Josh Robbins of The Athletic, Brogdon returned to Washington for further medical examinations, raising concerns that his debut may be delayed. The Wizards, who traded him for Denny Avdija and future draft picks, will now have to contend with the risk of starting the season without the 2023 Sixth Man of the Year. For Boston, this injury may have been a sign that they made the right decision in moving him before the storm. Smart decision by the Celtics? The Boston Celtics had already dealt with uncertainties regarding Brogdon's physical condition, especially after his unstable stint with the Portland Trail Blazers. There, he played in just 39 games before being sidelined by elbow tendonitis, while the team crumbled to the bottom of the Western Conference. His numbers were decent: 15.7 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 5.5 assists with a 44% shooting percentage. But his physical limitations began to raise concerns for franchises considering taking a chance on him. By trading him, Boston clearly recognized the potential problem ahead. With an injury that could keep him out of important games at the beginning of the season, the Celtics may have avoided a player who would bring more headaches than solutions for their current campaign. Instead of being stuck in uncertainty, they chose to move forward with a solid and healthy rotation. Brogdon and the carousel of uncertainty. Since arriving in Boston, Brogdon accepted a secondary role, playing behind Marcus Smart and Derek White, but always providing a starting-level production. He was an essential piece that helped Boston reach the conference finals. But ultimately, his fragile physique proved to be a recurring issue. What happened in Portland was the final blow to his reputation. A decent performance, but interrupted by injuries. Now, with the Wizards counting on him to be a leader in a team looking to rebuild around Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, the new injury could be a significant blow to Washington's plans. Meanwhile, for the Celtics, his departure increasingly looks like a disguised blessing. By bringing in Kristaps Porzingis, Boston strengthened its roster with an impact player, and despite the injury risks that come with Porzingis, he arrives healthy and ready to contribute immediately. Compared to Brogdon's situation with the Wizards, the Celtics definitely came out ahead. With a solid rotation prepared for the start of the season, Boston is in a much more favorable position than they would have been had they kept Brogdon on the roster. As Brogdon continues to struggle to stay in shape, the Celtics are ready to attack with full force, once again aiming for the top of the East. The decision to move him before the situation worsened seems to have been a surgical move by Brad Stevens and the front office. With the new season on the horizon, Brogdon's injury only reinforces the notion that the Celtics made the right play by parting ways with a player whose physical condition was becoming increasingly concerning. What could have been a problem for Boston has now become a burden for the Wizards, who will have to deal with the player's recovery and a potential absence in crucial games. Tacko Fall back to the Celtics? The Boston Celtics are considering a monumental surprise for their rotation. Tacko Fall, the giant who captured the hearts of the fanbase, may be in the sights for a possible return to the team. Standing at 7 feet 6 inches tall, Tacko brings not only nostalgia to Boston fans but also an imposing physical presence that few players in the NBA can match. Could the Celtics finally have found the missing piece for their championship run? Is Tacko ready to make an impact? After his first stint with the Celtics, where Tacko had the opportunity to develop and gain experience, the Senegalese player is determined to return to the highest level of the NBA. Since then, he has honed his skills, worked on his movement, and is now more prepared than ever. He himself stated, "I'm a better and more experienced player now. I'm in a position where I can truly contribute." And here's the crucial point. The Celtics need a dominant center, someone who can protect the rim, intimidate opponents on defense, and bring contagious energy to the team. Tacko has already shown he possesses these traits. Even in his limited minutes, he has proven to be an efficient shot blocker and an intimidating paint defender. With his renewed desire to make a difference, who can deny that he could be the solution for the Celtics this season? Is Tacko the ideal option? Let's analyze the situation. The Celtics are always looking for depth in the frontcourt, especially with players who can help defensively against elite centers while also protecting the rim from drives. Tacko, with his nearly 7'6" height and gigantic wingspan, offers exactly that. Additionally, the Celtics need someone who understands the team's culture. Tacko not only donned the Boston jersey before, but also maintains a strong bond with the current players. His friendship with stars like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is well known, and solid team chemistry could be the key to success in most critical phases of the season. Imagine the scene, TD Garden exploding with excitement as Tacko enters the court to block shots and grab crucial rebounds. Perfect opportunity or calculated risk? Of course, there are those who might question whether Tacko would be an ideal addition to a team with championship aspirations. However, what cannot be overlooked is his potential for immediate impact, especially in situations where the Celtics need size and strength in the paint. He may not be the fastest player on the court, but his physical presence forces opponents to rethink their offensive strategies. And with the evolution Tacko has undergone since his last appearance in the NBA, he is not only more agile but also more experienced, knowing how to position himself better defensively and contribute offensively when needed. Will the Celtics act quickly? With Tacko Fall in action in the NBL, opportunities are arising, and the Boston Celtics cannot afford to stand still while other teams assess the Giants' situation. Will Brad Stevens and company take a calculated risk on someone who already knows the environment and has tremendous potential for impact in decisive moments? With Tacko's history in Boston, his chemistry with the current roster, and his evolution as a player, the return of Tacko Fall to the Celtics could be the move that no one saw coming but that everyone will celebrate. And if he fits the way the team needs, it could be the decisive play to lead the Celtics to their long-awaited 18th NBA championship title. Hey Celtics fanatics! What do you think of this news? Leave your opinion in the comments, as it's highly valued.